If you marry wrongly, about 90 to 95% of your usefulness in life and destiny is gone. That was one of the statements that I grew up with that shaped my understanding about the subject of marriage and destiny. And that's the focus of our discussion on today's episode of Leaders Arise. Welcome to this platform of learning as we learn secrets to effectiveness in life and leadership. This is Demola Awoyele on Leaders Arise. Thank you for joining me. We have been discussing on the power of decisions, and we have been talking about making destiny decisions. A couple of episodes ago, I've discussed with you the decision of the choice of location, or decision about your location, decision about the choice of a local church, and a few other destiny decisions that are very important if you will become all that God has ordained for you. Moreover, it's a new year. Everyone is trying to make new decisions. Some want to get married this year, anyhow. Some want to travel out of the country. Some want to change their local church and all of that. And that was what necessitated my discussing all of these important issues, hoping that you will glean some truth and some light that would help you to make destiny decisions. So today, I want us to talk about the choice of a life partner. The choice of a life partner. And that word, life partner, really struck my heart. I'm sure that a lot of us used to be very careful when you hear stuff like life imprisonment, life plan. You are here for life. I know you're always careful. Because I'm there all the days of my life. I will be, yeah. So why is it that when you now get to the subject of who to marry, you have forgotten the fact that it's a lifelong commitment? That's why we call it life partner. Life. Number one, a partner that you will do life together. Number two, a partner you will be or you should be together for life. If somebody ever tells you to come and sign a contract and they tell you it's for life, I'm sure you're going to think twice before you append your signature or sign such a contract. Then why is it that you just hurriedly go to the altar or to the registry or wherever you to just decide on who to marry without considering the eternal implication of that decision? If somebody ever tells you come and sign this contract is for life, you will say, please hold on, I'm coming. You want to go and pray? You want to go and think? You want to go and make consultations, study more, ask questions, go for counsel, so that when you get back to that person, you are making a well-informed decision because it's for life. But why is it that when we get to the subject of who to marry, we suddenly have forgotten that it's for life? And that's why I feel it's important on this platform of Leaders Arise that I at least discuss with you on these important destiny decisions that every man has got to take, particularly if they have been ordained to marry. The decision as to who to marry is a destiny decision. Like I told you in previous episodes, some decisions do not affect your destiny. Whether I have my hair cut in the barber shop A, barber shop B, it doesn't affect my destiny. Whether I do a skin cut, I remove all the hairs on my head, it does not affect my destiny. Or I choose to have an afro style, it does not affect my destiny. I chose to wear a round neck like this, a simple dress like this to do this broadcast, it does not affect my destiny. I can choose to put on suit and tie or put on a native dress, it does not affect my destiny. But come to think of it, the choice of who to marry will definitely affect your destiny. And that's why I began with that opening statement that when you marry wrong, about 90 to 95% of your usefulness in life and destiny is gone. I know that statement is debatable, given the fact that the subject of marriage has been a controversial subject in our days today. I was told that statement as far back as close to 2 decades ago. And I can imagine how I believed it wholeheartedly, how I ran with it, how I planned my life, aligned my life with understanding of that statement to ensure that I make the right choice of who to marry. But I'm afraid if you mention that statement today, it is quite debatable today. But I don't think it should be debatable. Why is it now debated? Because a lot of stuff have gone wrong or are going wrong as far as marital discourse or marital issues are concerned today. And that's why I've taken time on this platform of Leaders Arise to discuss or shed a little light on this subject of marital choices as it relates to our destiny, because it is an important destiny decision that you have got to make. Now let's get started. Why do I call marital decision a destiny decision? The question is so simple, because you will realize that in Genesis chapter 2, it was the subject of destiny or purpose that necessitated the subject of marriage. So purpose came before marriage, and marriage will affect purpose. Purpose came before marriage, and marriage will affect purpose. Maybe I'll say it this way: purpose came before marriage, and marriage is supposed to enhance purpose. But when marriage is not done rightly, instead of enhancing purpose, it will hinder purpose. It will hinder destiny. That's why we said if you marry wrong, about 90 to 95% of your usefulness is gone. And somebody might say, Pastor Demola, what about people that married wrong, they discovered later, and they found a way to patch it up, and they are still doing pretty fine? I said, those are exceptions, really. There are quite a number of people that you don't get to hear about that marriage has sunk them deep. In fact, the reason you are not hearing them is because marriage has sunk them deep. And even those people that you think are doing well or fine, and they are divorced, or they are not even married, or they got it wrong maritally, if only God will open your eyes to see who they could have been, and what they could have been doing, or what they could have been were they to have a successful marriage, you will know that they are far, far behind where God wanted them to be. Alright, so it suffices to say that your choice of who to marry is not just one of those simple or trivial decisions. It is a decision that has eternal implications. And that's why it is important that as we start this new year fresh, in case you are not married, I believe I'm speaking actually to those who are not married. Because for those who are married, there is little or nothing you can do about the person you have chosen to marry. You only need to learn from what I'm sharing today to solidify your marriage with a belief that you really married right. But that's not the discussion for today. It's a tough one that I can't be going into today. But I'm talking to people who are not married, who are thinking about who to marry, or who are trying to get into a relationship in this new year 2021. This decision is very important. In fact, it is a destiny decision that you must not take lightly. And I've just told you why it is a destiny decision. The reason is just because it was purpose that necessitated marriage. So you can't remove marriage from purpose from marriage. Without purpose, there was nothing like marriage. Genesis chapter 2, maybe verse 18 or thereabout, it said, it is not good that man should be alone, for I will make him a help suitable for him. So the purpose of the woman is to help the man to fulfill his purpose, God's purpose for his life, so that the two of them can fulfill divine purpose together. So what now happens if somebody gets it wrong in the area of marriage? It may actually mean that the help that that person should have got for the fulfillment of his or her destiny will not actually be in place. And that's what the devil really wanted, or really wants. He wanted to not have the help that God has earmarked for the fulfillment of your destiny. That's what I'm discussing today on the choice of marital partner as a major destiny decision that you have got to pay attention to. The second thought I would like to share with you today, still on this subject of making marital choices, is to let you know that God still chooses who people marry for them. Like I said, in our today's world, it looks like a debatable statement. But when I was still growing up, by the way, I'm still growing up, I'm talking about close to 2 decades ago, that wasn't subject to debate. If I say God has to choose who to marry, everybody say yes, we know. But today now, there are some circles that do not believe that God chooses who to marry for people. There are some pastors in quote that also believe that God does not choose who people marry again. And some use this frivolous excuse that from the first day in Genesis, Adam said, it is the woman that you gave me, all right, that lured me into eating the fruit that you forbade us from eating, that made me to sin. And from that day, people erroneously have said, God has handed off leading people to who to marry. That is a lie from the pit of hell. The fact that Adam got it wrong, not because the fact that Adam's marriage didn't work the way it should work, does not mean that the subject of who to marry or the choice of who to marry must be done outside of God. Ultimately, you are going to make your own choice, but ensure that your choice is as directed or revealed by God. Can I say that again? Ultimately, you are going to make your own choice, but ensure that it is as directed, led, or revealed by God. Because God won't force you to marry anybody. And no pastor should force anybody to marry anybody. No pastor should matchmake people. The best you can do as a pastor out of love and concern is to provide the right environment for people to meet. But the choice of who to marry must be personal to each person. And for such people, it must be based on the revelation of God that they have as far as who to marry is concerned. So God will reveal His plan for you maritally. You will go ahead and make your choice based on the plan of God that He has revealed to you. And based on the fact that God says, this is the person I have chosen for you. And that's the second point I wish to emphasize again. That there is something like God choosing who to marry for people. And in the year 2021, in case you are yet to marry, you are here to get into a relationship, don't be carried away with the lies and the errors and the whatever that is flying here and there. Ensure you calm down, sit under God, and allow Him to guide you as to who to marry. So the thought I want to share with you on this destiny decision on who to marry, or the choice of a marital partner, is that the decision about who to marry is not a momentary decision. What do I mean by that? It does not just or only start with knowing who to marry. Because the truth of the matter is it's one thing for you to marry the right person. It's another thing for you to marry right. So after getting a revelation about who to marry and making the right choice of who to marry, listen, you must now start making choices along that overriding choice, so that everything that God has planned for your marriage will come to fruition. This perhaps is the area that a lot of people have missed it today. And that's why it looks as though this thing called God said, God led me, is a scam. Do you know why? People only stop at the realm of God said this is a person to marry. They never understood that their everyday decision, right from the word go up till when they marry, in the marriage until death do them part, they must continue to make decisions or make choices in line with that choice that they have made. They must be able to undergo some things, come up with practices, come up with some whatever that will enhance the fulfillment of God's plan for their marital life. Let me round up by letting you know today that the decision about who to marry is not a trivial one. It's a decision that you must take very seriously. God still chooses for people who to marry. I know there are different theological perspectives to this, different ideologies, different denominational perspectives, but I want to say that the Word of God, the foundation of God stands sure. God is the originator or the institutor of marriage, and He wants to be the person that should decide what is His plan and purpose for your marital life is concerned. So as you plan to succeed in leadership, in destiny, understand the place of making the right decision in the area of relationship and marriage for that destiny to happen. For example, when you see somebody doing well publicly, I know it may not be true in all cases. People want to assume or believe that he has a good home. They say behind every successful man is a great woman or something like that. I know it's not always true in all circumstances. Some people are divorced and they are still successful in the public. But that cliche came out of the fact that people understand the place of a good wife or husband or spouse and a good family. So behind every successful man is a woman. Behind every this one is because they understand that there is something about marriage, something about relationship, something about the right choice of spouse that drives public success. Like I normally say, if it doesn't work at home, don't export it out. Private victory, private success is or should be the foundation for public success. So I would like you to take another look or thoughts on this subject of the choice of a marital partner and ensure that in everything you do, particularly as a single guy, single lady, let God decide or reveal to you what his plans and purposes are. Now, this discussion is not entirely about marriage. I will have delved into different other matters regarding this subject of marriage. I'm only trying to borrow or take from that understanding of marriage in discussing destiny decisions. So you can forward me your questions in case you have questions, because this is a very sensitive discussion. People have questions to ask when it has to do with marriage, finance, and all of that. Feel free to get me your questions. Let's get to rub minds together. I have only come to emphasize to you today on Leaders Arise that the choice of who to marry is a destiny decision that must not be trivialized. You must carry God along. You must let God decide who to marry for you and make your decision or choice based on the revealed will of God. Then most importantly, ensure that you make decisions every day, every hour, every time, alongside with that decision or choice that you have made, to ensure that beyond just choosing the right partner, you want to do it the right way. I hope today's episode of Leaders Arise has been a blessing to you. I look forward to having a great time with you at the next episode. Don't forget to get me your questions, your comments, and your feedbacks till we meet again at the next episode. Go right there and make destiny decisions. You will succeed. Bye for now.